Well, hi there. I'm going to show you how to make a dreamer beanie today. And this is a slouchy beanie, and I've chosen to call it a dreamer beanie because it's for all the women out there that are dreamers, that have a dream and take action and do it and manifest their dreams and make it their reality. So here we are. I've got a nice mustard yarn. It's just a worsted weight, number 4 weight, and it's impeccable. It looks like this. I got it from Michael's, and just an impeccable yarn, acrylic yarn, and I'm using an H hook to do this with. And I make these beanies in all different colors, spring colors, fall colors, winter colors, but a lot of people have been asking how to make them, so I thought I would share it here. But I do have them available for sale in my Caraway Crochet shop. Okay, so I've made my slip knot. I didn't do that very slowly, did I? If you haven't made a slip knot before, this is the way I do it. Anyway, I wrap the yarn around twice. I pull this piece over, and then I pull this piece over. This is the easiest one I learned, and I actually learned this one off of YouTube. There, and we have a slip knot. Now I'm going to chain 4. Or chain, yeah, you can do 3 or 4. This is instead of a magic ring. 1, 2, 3. Let's just do 3. And then I'm going to go into the first stitch and pull that through. Okay, and now you can see we've got a bit of a circle in the middle there. And I'm going to chain 2, chain 1, wrap the yarn around, pull through, chain 2, and then we're going to do 11 double crochets into this little hole that I've got there showing. So we wrap the yarn around, we stick the hook through the little hole, and I like to get hold of this loose piece and hold it together like that. Wrap the yarn around, pull it through. That's 1, and I've got to do 11. So here's number 2. Here's number 3. Here's number 4. 5. Gotta organize my yarn here. It's over on the side. Sorry about that. Okay. 6. 7. 7. 8. 9. 10. And 11. Okay, and then you join them at the top of the chain 3 or chain 2 that you do at the beginning. I think I chained 2, okay? So I'm going to count them just so you can see what it looks like, okay? There's the chain 2, then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I'm going to put my hook through, and I'm going to join it to the top of the chain 2 there. Make sure you've got the long piece. And we've got a little circle like that. And we're going to chain 2. And we're going to put 2 double crochets into each of these stitches. And we want to end up with 22, okay? So here we go. 1, 2, into the same stitch, and now the next one, 3, and into the same stitch, 4, and now into the next one, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, oops, sorry, I'm worrying about the yarn, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, I've got paint on my hands here, 20, 21, 22, and we join it to the top of the chain 2. We have 22 stitches. I've got paint on my hand because I'm going to do a resin painting for my daughter for her birthday, and I was priming the piece of wood earlier, so that's what that's all about. And I've got a piece of card balanced here because I thought white would be a nice surface for you to be able to see things more clearly. So when I'm pulling this is why I'm kind of preoccupied. I'm trying to pull some free yarn so I've got something to work with, and it's knocking the card. Okay, this is like my first major video that I'll be doing. So now we're going to chain 2. That's 1 row, 2 rows. We're going on to row 3. And this time we're going to double crochet into the same stitch 2 times. And then the next one, we're going to just go into it once, okay? So here we go. 1, 2, into that stitch. And then 1 into the next stitch. That's 3. So I like to go around sort of counting in 3s. 1, 2, 3, 4, and now into the same stitch again, 5, and then only 1 stitch in the next stitch, 6, right? Then 2 into the next one, 7, 8, and 1 into the next, 9, 2 into the next one, 10, 11, and only 1 into the next, 12, 13, and into the same stitch again, 14, 15. If I'm going too fast, you can always stop the video and pause it until you catch up, right? 16, 17, and into the next stitch, only 1, 18, 2 into the next one, 19, 20, and 1 into the next, 21, 2 into the next stitch, 22, 23, 1 into the next stitch, 24, 25, 26, and 1 into the next stitch, 27, 2 into the next stitch, 28, 29, and 1 into the next stitch is 30, and then the last little repeat, 31, 32, and the next one, 33. And then we join it to the top of the chain 2. Okay, now we're going to go on to row 1, 2, 3, row 4. So we're going to chain 2. We've got 33. You can always go around and count and make sure, okay? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 31, 32, 33. But when you count as you go, it's really useful because you always know where you are at, okay? So for this next one, we're going to chain 2 again. And this time we're going to be doing 2 double crochets into the next one, and then 1 double crochet into the next stitch and 1 double crochet into the next. So it's 2 into the next one, 1, 2, and then only 1 double crochet into each of the next 2 stitches, okay? 3, 4. Then 2 into the next stitch, 5, into the same hole, 6, and then 1 into each of the next 2, 7, 8. Right, now we're going to do 2 into the next one, 9, 10, and then 1 into each of the next 2, 11, 12, and 2 into the next one, 13, 14, and 1 into each of the next, 15, 16, and 2 into the next, 17, 18, and 1 into each of the next 2, 19, 20. Here we go, 2 into the next one, 21, 22, and then 1 into the next, 23, and 1 into the next, 24, and 2 into the next, 25, 26, and 1 into each of the next one, 27, and then 1 into the next one, 28, 2 into the next one, 29, 30, and then 1 only, 31, and 1 into the next, 32. 2 into the next one. You're doing great. 33, 34. 1 into each of the next 2, so that's 35, 36. 2 into the next, 37, 38, 1 each into the next 2, 39, 40. Now 2 into the next one, 41, 42, and then 1 into each of the next, 43, and 1 into the last one, 44, and join it up at the top of the chain 2. And now you can see it's starting to get a bit of a curve on it, and that's the last way of following on that pattern of where we chain 2 into each stitch, then we chain 2 and only 1 into the next, and then we chain 2 into one stitch, and then we 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, chain 2, 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet. Now we're leaping up to chaining 2 and double crocheting 10 before we do another 2 into one stitch, okay? So it's slowing down the increase, okay? I'm sorry I keep bashing into the Venetian blinds here. I'm trying to do this by a window so you can see better, okay? And so here I've chained 2. This is for a 1, 2, 3, 4. I've chained 2. I'm going to double crochet 2 stitches into the first one here. 1. And I'm going into the same one again. 2. But this time I'm going to count 10, where we just do 1 double crochet into each stitch. Okay, so we've got to count 10. Let's do this, and I'll do it quite slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now we have to do 2 double crochets into the next stitch right there. So we're going to go into there and do 1, 2. And now we have to do 10 more. Only 1 double crochet into each stitch. 1, 2, 3, oops, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's time for a 2-in-1. Here we go. 1, and into the same stitch we're going to do a second double crochet. And time to start counting 10 again. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oops, so I'm trying to see whether my hands are on the camera or not. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we're ready for another 2-in-1. Okay, here we go. 1 in there, and another one in the same hole. Okay, here we go, counting 10. 1, 2, 2. 3, 4, 5, I'm going to get some yarn up here. 5, so 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So let's count and see how many we've got here. We've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, 36, 38, 40, 42, 44, 46, 48. And at this point, that's exactly how many we should have. So we stop there and we join it to the top of the chain 2. So for the next row, we're going to do 2 into the first one, chain 2 first of all, and do 2 into the first one. And you can see we've got this little row of these going up here, right? Because we're going 2 on top of 2. So we're going to chain 2 into here. And then we're going to count 11. One more than the last row. 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And what I want to show you now is that you'll see here we are going to be directly on top of this. Was 2 in 1 there. Okay, so right above that we're going to do 2 double crochets, and this is one way you can check once you get to this point into that hole, because sometimes you get daydreaming and you go too far, and you'll know you always see the increase. It's kind of this is a double crochet increase when you do 2 stitches into 1 hole. So now we're just going to carry on doing 11 more double crochets, and then when we get to the next one that has the increase in it here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Here you can see it. There's the 2 going into the 1. That's where we're going to do 2 double crochets into there. So carry on. Double crochet 1 stitch into each stitch for 11, and then 2 into the next one, and I'll meet you round at the beginning. So at the end of the row you have 1 stitch left here to put your final double crochet in for number 11, and then you should have 52 stitches. Okay, you join it to the top of the chain 2, and we're going to chain 2 again for the beginning, and this is what your hat is starting to look like. Okay, it's getting that nice little curve on the top. Okay, and all your double crochets and your increases are starting to line up. There's an increase above an increase, because the next row is going to be double crochet 2 into the first stitch, and that's right above where those others are. 1, 2. I'm losing my light, so I'm going to stop and probably carry on with this tomorrow. But then we're going to double crochet 1 into each of the next 12 stitches. 1, 2, and also if I start tomorrow I might be able to rearrange my yarn so it's a little bit more user friendly, because this is not working out too well for me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And if you've done this correctly, you should be directly above an increase, which we are here. Okay, I'm just going to rearrange my card. That looks nicer. So we have to do 2 into that 1. We've done 12 into each stitch. Now we're doing 2 into that 1. Then we're going to do a double crochet into each of the next 12 and increase in the next one, and carry on until you get to the end. And for this row, I think at the end of it we have 56 stitches, if I'm correct. Okay, so I'll see you back at the end of this row. So here we are at the end of row 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we're just going to do a double crochet into this, what's going to be the 12th stitch, and we're going to connect it to the top of the chain 2, and that will be our 56 stitches. And for the next row we are going to chain 2, double crochet 2 into the first stitch, and then we're going to double crochet for 13 individuals. We're just going up a stitch every time, and that means we're getting this really nice little pattern of V's going up together. Okay, so we're going to double crochet once and twice into this next stitch. Okay, and then we're going to do a double crochet into each stitch for the next 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Now we're ready to do 2 into the next stitch. 1, 2. So you understand what we're doing? We're going to double crochet into the next 13, 2 into the next stitch, and then 13 more, and then 2 into the next stitch, all the way around. And at the end of this row we should have 60 stitches. Okay, I'll see you back at the end of the row. Okay, and here we are back at the end, and number 13 is going right into the little corner there. Okay, I think that was 13. Let's just check it out. This is where we did the double. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Perfect. And then we go into this stitch here at the top of the chain 2 to join it. Now this row now is going to be row 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're going into row 9, and this is going to be the last of our increased rows. Okay, so we're going to chain 2, and we're going to do 2 double crochets into the first stitch here. 1, 2, and then we're going to double crochet into each stitch for the next 14 stitches. Then we're going to do an increase into the next, double crochet 14, increase in the next, all the way round until we get to the end. And at that point, at the end of row 9, we should have 64 stitches. And once we get to that point, then we just carry on straight. So I'll meet you around at the end of row 9, which 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, where we're double crocheting 2 into the first stitch like I've just done. I'm going to double crochet into the next 14, then 2 into the next one, 14, 2 into the next one, all the way around. Okay? Thanks. Okay, so now we've got to this point. We've finished the row where we double crocheted 2 stitches into the first stitch, and then 14 into the next, and then double crocheted 2 into what would be the 15th stitch, and we followed that pattern all the way around, and we've ended up with 64 stitches on our hat, and it's starting to look like this. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're just going to chain up 2, and we're going to just do a double crochet into the next stitch and into each stitch as you go around the row. and we just keep on going, one double crochet into each stitch all the way around for rows 10 to 20. And then we're going to come back here and I'll tell you how we finish off the hat. So it's not a very complicated pattern. It's once you've got these increases done at the top where it starts to look really, I think it's beautiful the way it goes. And we're going to carry on, and as I say, stop at the end of row 20. Don't go too far, okay? And I'll see you back here. So here we are, we finished row 20, and it's a round actually, and I have just chained one after slip stitching it together. After you go on your round 20, you can just slip stitch it to the top like we have been doing, and chain one. And our last row is going to be just the single crochet. We're going to single crochet all the way around. So we're going to go into the first one, no wrapping over, just put your hook straight in to the stitch, yarn over, pull it through, and then yarn over and pull it through those two. So this is a single crochet, into the stitch, yarn over, pull it through, yarn over, pull it through two. And we're going to go all the way around. And what this does is it kind of tightens it off. Now, if this hat's too big for your head, if 64 stitches is too big, you can stop your increases at the end of row 8 when you have 60, okay? And sometimes I've even made them less stitches for a smaller head if people want it to fit a bit more tightly. But this is the Slouchy Beanie. This is the original design that I made, and it's very popular, but some people do like it a bit smaller. So you're going to single crochet all the way around until we get to the end, okay? Now we've got to the end of the row, and I'm just going to put my needle in to the top of the chain one that we did and pull it through, and then I'm going to pull it through again and cut that off and pull it through, and we can weave in the ends, okay? So pulling it through, and I pull it tight like that. And then you have to thread your yarn needle and you have to weave it in and out of the stitches. Go back and forth on yourself until you feel like your yarn is secure and worked in there, okay? And you have finished your first Slouchy Beanie. There we go, it's looking pretty nice. I've raised my camera up so you get a better view of it, but that is what the Slouchy Beanie looks like. There's another way you can finish it off. If you go to my blog, carawaycrochet.com, there's an alternative pattern for this where you stop at row 17 and you can make a ribbed brim. But for this video, I've chosen to make it really simple for beginners. No front post double crochets or anything like that to deal with. And I hope you really enjoy this. If you've liked this video, please do subscribe to my channel and check out, I have a chunky beanie pattern on here too. And of course, there'll be left and right-handed versions of this one. So thank you very much for joining me, and enjoy making yourself a Slouchy Beanie.